Hey everybody, welcome to your Aquarius horoscopes for the week of August 13th to 19th. We really don't have any planets in Aquarius. Pluto is still loosely on the cusp, so we can take it or leave it. We are going to incorporate him into it because it's close enough that it is still on the cusp. Meanwhile, we have Saturn, which is retrograde, not quite in Aquarius anymore, but moving backwards and moving closer and closer into being on that cusp of Pisces and Aquarius also. So it's like we've got these two heavy hitters on either side, and we're just kind of sitting here like, oh my goodness, where do I hide? We've already dealt with Saturn, we've already dealt with Pluto. We're gonna deal with Pluto again. We know that, but we might be dealing with Saturn again as well. So I had to check and see when that retrograde is over, which I'm not going to do right this minute. Focus is on the home. And with Pluto's influence being so close to the cusp, because it is still, like I said, it's one more degree out and it will not be on the cusp anymore, but it's still there just enough to influence us just a little bit, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Yes, in the beginning of the week, it is a little challenging because the moon moves into opposition with Pluto, and Pluto's focus really is on our mindset, the way we're thinking about these specific things, with the moon being right there on influencing our long-term goals. And so specifically our long-term career goals. So how you think about that really does have an effect on what you're going to do. And the typical Aquarian way of thinking about that is overthinking and not being able to focus on one thing at a time. This has been such a difficult thing in my career. From the time that I started my career, to be honest with you, I always had this mindset of success. Even as a child, I knew I was going to go places. I knew I was going to go far. I was pretty sure I was going to be famous. Not entirely sure that I want that anymore. But always had a high opinion of myself. And part of that is unhealthy ego, and part of it is healthy ego, and it's really weeding between those two places to figure out which one is which, if that makes sense. But in terms of mindset and our goals, this is really something that I have struggled with for the last couple of weeks, specifically this last couple of weeks of being sick. Believe it or not, how you feel physically really does play a huge part in your mindset. And I went through a whole lot of BS going on in here about how I should just throw in the towel. It's just not, I'm really not successful. I told myself all of these really, really, really ridiculously stupid stories. And then the next day I woke up and went, oh, it's kind of odd. Why did I do all that? Well, circumstances happen, things happen. How you feel that day has a lot to do with it. When I feel crappy, you can tell, okay? I can hide how I feel almost all the time until I'm sick, and then I am the most miserable person on the planet. And everything that makes me miserable, I have to put a voice to it. I probably am really annoying to be around at that time because I know I annoy the heck out of myself in the process. And if you can identify that, you're going places, right? So I really feel that this is more about identifying what your negative mindset triggers are. That is really important. When you can tell what triggers this negative mindset to come up, you can maybe not eliminate the trigger, but you can work around the trigger. So it doesn't necessarily work out in the same way, if that makes sense. Now, oppositions aside, Pluto's in a grand trine and a grand sextile with I'm sorry, not Saturn, Mars, Mercury, Uranus, Jupiter, and Neptune. Most of the planets all working together for a good cause. And it all revolves around your support system and your relationships. So I feel like what this is doing is it's taking us out of the negative mindset and it's putting us our focus on those people that have been there to help me. And I think about it in terms of my own business. The person that I chose as a bookkeeper is amazing and I love her. And every time I have issues with money, she's there to help me sort that out. The wonderful person who worked on my website and built it and created it, what it is, don't even know where I would be without that woman. And those are just two examples of a lot of people that I have actually had there to help me. And I feel like by reminding myself that I'm not doing this alone, because being the heavy metal psychic is really I work for myself, literally. There's nobody helping me. It's just all me. But then I broaden that out and I look at all the people that really are there to support me, and that will help to keep my mindset in the right place, something that's productive, constructive, successful. That's where we want to be, guys, right? And that can be difficult because we intellectually tend to be in 20 different places at once all the time. So that gives us a point to focus our energy on and focus on what we can do next to be productive. And really, that's what it's all about. It's about being productive. The biggest issue that Aquarians have, I feel, knowing other Aquarians besides myself, is that we spend way too much time thinking about things and not enough time actually getting our hands dirty. I have always said, I would love to be able to look at that closet and think, this is how I want it organized, and for it to just magically happen like that. I don't actually want to go in there and clean out that closet. Who wants to do that? We have much more important things to do, I'm sure, or much more pleasant ways to waste our time or what have you. So obviously, having anything get done mentally, as in thinking about it and it's done, is not going to work, right? So we have to work with our tendencies as Aquarians while still also working on the negatives of being an Aquarius and using them to our advantage. It's a delicate dance, but trust me, it is a dance that can be danced if you choose to dance it. So that's what I have for you guys this week. And if you love your horoscopes, do click the link in the description and send me a copy. I love me my coffee. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but most Aquarians are fueled by coffee. At least that's something that I read in a magazine a while ago. And I'm not surprised because, I had been fueled by coffee for many years when I read that. So I was like, and it's also not good for us either. But that's besides the point. I'm Melissa Bruce, the Heavy Metal Psychic. Thank you for watching and supporting. I know you guys are going to just be badass and make it a great week. And I expect you to make it a great week. I'm going to make it a great week too. I will see you guys next week on the other side of the greatness. You guys have a good one.